Doing that blue magic, bro. I know niggas on that I stand by it, I guarantee it.
Blue magic.
That's what you want, bro.
Cardiologist Dr. Scott Davis, thanks for being here with us this morning. So push-up, explain this for us. How does this work?
Drop give me 20, right? So, interesting study. So the smart people at Harvard did a study. They looked at a group of firefighters in the state of Indiana. And so they had 1,100 men, okay, that they studied over a 10-year period. And the average age was about 40 years old, so it wasn't the 25-year-old caliber firefighter guys. I mean, it had a good, broad, selection of men. And they followed them over like I said, a 10-year period. And they found that the ability to do push-ups had a direct correlation in their cardiovascular risk. In that, if you're able to do over 40 push-ups.
Blue magic, bro. When you step in and you sell this and you telling people that this is CMOS gel, Dr. Sabi approved, you fucking up the brand. What are you talking about? It's copyright infringement. This is the Chondrus crispus, the only one in North America. When you present people this is copyright infringement. This is hair grease. God, the words you use, I don't like the words you use. They're disrespectful. Like the words you use after they even comprehend with, like it's disrespectful. I just call it red sea moss. I want that red sea moss. Y'all want red sea moss? Come get y'all some red sea moss. Listen, I don't give a fuck if you call it blue dog. Okay? As long as you don't call it blue magic.
Doing that blue magic, bro. I know niggas on that I stand by it, I guarantee it.
Blue magic.
That's what you want, bro.
For a long time, African-centered scholars and academics have pressurized Egyptian antiquities to allow for the testing of skin pigmentation. This can be done via the measurement of the concentration of melanin to ascertain the exact skin tone of mummified individuals. Understandably, Afrocentric anthropologists have always been confident in the knowledge that ancient Egyptians will cluster among the same racial stock as modern Africans. Esteemed historian and physicist Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop developed a simple melanin dosage test that would be able to return the exact living complexion from any mummy based on a minuscule sample of the epidermis. What's important to note here is that melanin concentration is responsible for skin pigmentation. The more melanocytes present in skin, the darker an individual will be. Diop himself stated, although the epidermis is the main site of the melanin, the melanocytes penetrating the derm at the boundary between it and the epidermis, even where the latter has mostly been destroyed by the embalming materials, show a melanin level which is non-existent in the white-skinned races. In the case of the mummies sampled by Diop, in spite of some significant melanin degradation, they still possessed a concentration of melanocytes well within the dark-skinned ranges, normal for black Africans, but considerably beyond the accessible range for Eurasian peoples. Regarding the origin of his samples, Diop continues, the samples I myself analyzed were taken in the physical anthropology laboratory of the Musée de l'Homme in Paris off the mummies from the Marietta excavations in Egypt. For 2 years past, I have been vainly begging the curator of the Cairo Museum for similar samples to analyze. No more than a few square millimeters of skin would be required to mount a specimen. Naturally, his attempts to advance this test have faced staunch resistance from the gatekeepers of Egyptology, who only benefit from the lack of transparency in a shameless attempt to perpetuate the myth of racial ambiguity. This allows them to make estimations and promote reconstructions that are illogically and politically based on the current ethnically divergent population of Egypt, as opposed to their actual complexion based on a consistent and measurable variable that is easily acquired. However, more recently, during an excavation headed by the German Institute for Archaeology in Cairo in the year 2000, researchers sought to carry out anthropological and paleopathological analysis of the human remains from 3 tombs of the nobles of the necropolis of Thebes West. An additional study was conducted by Makota and Vermeeren, published in 2005. The study sought to test the quality of methods of rehydration for mummified tissue. In the study, samples were taken from a pool of 273 mummies dated from the New Kingdom. Samples were taken from each organ of each of the mummies. During analysis of the skin samples, biologists noted that skin sections showed particularly good tissue preservation. Although much of the epidermis had already separated from the dermis, the remaining epidermis often was preserved well. The basal epithelial cells were packed with melanin as expected for specimens of Negroid origin. In essence, the epidermis was consistent with black or Negroid African groups based on the density of the melanin. This was the only conclusive assumption made alluding to ethnicity during the study, since its purpose was to compare methods of rehydration. This objective conclusion gives a silent nod to the tireless efforts of Diop and his protégés, who always knew that given the opportunity to test, the ancient Egyptians would be proven to be amongst the same ethnic stock as their African brethren. Thank you for joining me on The King's Monologue.
Purple phase not only regrows beta cells, but a part of the mechanism it uses to regrow beta cells is melanogenesis. Yes, in the world where your melanin, your pigment system has been attacked, you now have an equalizer. Purple phase, AmericanHealer.website. What are you waiting for? Go to AmericanHealer.website now and get you some.
Listen, go back and listen to your mama. Stop being ashy. You good. If it was that simple, skincare would not be like the #1 cosmetic research, like medicinal research, cosmetic research. Like, that's a black hole in terms of research money for cosmetics and medicine, because even when you deal with stem cell technology, right, keratinocytes, the cells that make up our skin, right, outside of melanocytes you have keratinocytes. Each melanocyte controls about 30 to 40 keratinocytes on average, right? That's what makes up your skin. Melanocytes and keratinocytes. Keratinocytes are the most exploited stem cell line for, cloning and senescent cell study and all of those different things that we think of, David Sinclair and all of the other, researchers in those pockets, right? Because they're easy. And these are stem cells, right? So, for a variety of reasons, we need to understand the skin and how the skin interacts with the rest of the body's tissue. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yo, bro, it looked creepy. It looked creepy. And then you see the views. You see the views of how much people like that. Like, they wearing skulls and picking the brain out of it and the eyeballs. And you gotta. Some scary people walking around. There's some scary people walking around. That's all I'm gonna say. There's some scary folks walking around. Right? What people think are delicious. The ideas of certain people, the ideas that they have of things that are delicious, right? Some crazy ass ideas of what delicious is are floating around. My name is Minister Inky. I am the naturopathic doctor and the spokesman for the Melanin Verse Diabetes Ministry. Every time you go to the supermarket without the electrician grocery shopping list, it's like putting a loaded gun to your head. Stop playing Russian roulette with your life. Help us make America great again. Learn how to save time. Learn how to save money with the electrician grocery shopping list on Amazon now. Go to Amazon now. The life you save may be your own. Now, let me show you something real quick. Let me show y'all something real quick that you may not even. All right, now. I always got to say shout out to Abdullah Bey. If it wasn't for Abdullah Bey, I would never have started using etymology to get a deeper understanding of words. So shout out to Abdullah Bey for that. right? All right. So let's look at the etymology of the word aura, right? So the etymology of the word aura goes back to the 1870s spiritualism, which means or carried the meaning of subtle emanation around living beings, right? Subtle emanation around living beings, and then later on, characteristic impression, right? Made by personality, right? Earlier than that, you go to an aroma or subtle emanation, right? Aroma or subtle emanation. Now, aroma is going to take things back to ancient Egypt. Aroma will take things back to ancient Egypt, even though you think of Rome, aroma, right? But aroma takes things back. So these are things that I have problems with the current gatekeepers that we know of as Kemetic scholars, black, white, Arab, you name it. There's a very small piece of information that they're studying. Everything else is blocked, right? So one of the things we talk about, let me see if it's in this book. This is the PhD book. I was looking for this book the other day. I couldn't find it. The PhD book. Is this the book? I think this is the book. It's either this book or it's the Osiris Diabetes and Respiration book. Hold on. I think it might be the Osiris Diabetes and Respiration book. My name is Minister Inky. I am the naturopathic doctor and the spokesman for the Melanin Verse Diabetes Ministry. Every time you go to the supermarket without the electrician grocery shopping list, it's like putting a loaded gun to your head. Stop playing Russian roulette with your life. Help us make America great again. Learn how to save time. Learn how to save money with the electrician grocery shopping list on Amazon now. Go to Amazon now. The life you save may be your own. What I'm looking for is the book. Oh, yep. Okay. It is. It's the Osiris Diabetes and Respiration book. If you go to page 33, right? If you go to page 33, it says Big Nose. That's the title of that chapter, right? And I start to talk about wide noses, big noses, and then, hold on. Ethical racial impact of having a larger nose or a wider nose. Okay, hold on. Actually, this book right here is probably, this should be the beginning of the Skintology series, to be honest, because we go very deeply into the options. Yeah. We go into the options, option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the different nanometer ranges of light. You know what? I picked up this book for a reason. This is the book right here. This is the book. And we talk about, in this book, we talk about some of the early references to smell and to aroma, and just to the context of smell in ancient Egypt as opposed to the context of smell in the modern day world, right? So anyway, go get these 2 books. Put these books in your Amazon cart. Get these books in your house, right? This book particularly, Osiris, Diabetes, and Respiration, right? This book breaks down damn near 80% of what man, so this might be the grandfather of the Skintology books. This might be the grandfather of the Skintology books. That's how it would always go. When you're not looking for something, right? Because we talk about the porphyrin ring, right? We talk about the porphyrin ring. We talk about the nutrition for the options. We talk about the minerals, vitamins, all of those things required for each type of option, all of those things in this book. But also some references to the big nose and, like I said, the ancient ideas surrounding smell, right? Which if we deal with aura, we have to deal with those concepts, right? Earlier still, aroma or subtle emanation, right? And we go back even further.